what has been announced in England, when tonight in Scotland there is a comparatively low number of people in hospital. The number tonight is 73 people in hospital in Scotland.
So let's think about what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to get that R number that we talked about for months. We haven't talked about for a little while because the numbers have been so low. We're trying to get it below 1. Each country has to make some choices in there, whether you're Swedish or English or Welsh or Scottish. Our principal risk is households giving the virus to other households. So you and I, our households getting together indoors, or you and I going for dinner or in a pub, the chances that my household gives it to you, the two things we want to try and stop that happening are inside your own house, the domestic restriction you've seen, which is really harsh. We don't want to do it, and the hospitality restrictions that you've seen us make up to now, and a new one today.
But why the blanket rule, though? You know, there'll be people sitting watching this in the Western Isles tonight, you know, maybe in parts of Perthshire, in the Highlands, thinking, why do we have to pay, or why do we have to suffer when the issue is happening somewhere else? You know, the levels of the virus are so low in these parts of Scotland, so why the blanket rule?
We thought long and hard over the last 4 or 5 days about exactly that question. Shetland, Orkney and the Western Isles have had cases in the last week.
Very few.
Yeah, very small, but they've had cases. This virus doesn't need much opportunity to go from 1 to 14 to 100. We were very, very careful to think about it, and we've decided the whole country. Now, we've said we'll review every 3 weeks. That means we may do things like that. We're pretty sure the mainland has to stay together. You can't have a different rule in Dumfries just across the border from Glasgow. But you might change the way the islands react.
Why not? Sorry, why can't you have a different?
Because people travel, so that you just can't close the borders.
People aren't stupid, though, Professor Leitch. You know, they know where they live. They know the rules if you tell them that when it affects their area and when it doesn't.
Yeah, but you can't stop them travelling without a travel ban. So if you said, for example, let's say a set of islands, we're going to let you have different restrictions, you would then have to put some kind of travel ban around there to stop the virus coming in. That's got huge implications for tourism, for industry, for business, so you can't do one without the other, and that's why we chose to do it this way.
I just wonder, you know, many people are asking, how did we get here? I mean, we've had a lot of spring, we've had a lot of summer, arguably under the most cautious of measures of the whole of the UK, and we were told if we did the hard work then, you know, we would kind of be out of this. And now it feels that we are again going to be living under some of the strictest measures in the UK.
So I certainly never told you you'd be out of it. The reason we're in this is a virus. Let's be very clear. 300,000 people in Europe caught this virus last year, and we're about to pass 1 million deaths globally. This is not to be trifled with. It doesn't mean we're doing this because people broke the rules, or we're doing this because students did something, or older people did something. If only it were as simple as that.
Something's happened,
just
though,
target
hasn't it?
that. Yes, the virus has happened. And as we've opened, as we've gone on our route map out of this, the virus has found ways of jumping from household to household. Now, some of that is rule breaking. Of course it is, on the edge. Some of it is people dropping their guard. Some of it's even with the guidance, the virus can still find ways. So we're now finding a new set of restrictions that we hope within the next few weeks and months will drive that virus prevalence down again.
And already this evening, you know, we've got organisations lining up saying this is going to be a disaster. You know, we've got hospitality industry, the travel industry. The Scottish Hospitality Group has said tonight that this curfew is a disaster, that hospitality is being made a scapegoat for the Scottish Government. I just wonder, what is the evidence that you have that shows that hospitality is a problem?
So test and protect, the most important weapon we have, apart from individual human behaviour, interviews every single positive case. Everyone. A human being talks to the positive case. Where have you been? Who did you see? What, did you travel from Greece? Did you go to the pub? Did you see your granny? They then conform themes. So they've nearly 400 cases today. 350 cases. They interview them, they work out what it is. And the two big themes nationally are hospitality.
How many of them, then, of the 400 days today were
I've no idea. Test and Protect will still be doing its thing for those 400 from today.
So for the past 2 weeks, what is the percentage of hospitality cases?
So I don't know that number off the top of my head, Rebecca. How would I know that? So
well, because you advise the Scottish Government. I mean, presumably when you're coming to these very difficult decisions, you know, and you're agreeing to a curfew for a whole industry, you must know how bad the problem is in that particular industry.
That's exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. I don't know the exact percentage number, which is what you asked me. I know that the top 2 reasons for being positive are domestic interactions and hospitality interactions. And therefore, you'd want to advise the First Minister to do something about those two things. And that's exactly what we've done.
It's a little bit of a mixed message, though, isn't it? Because, you know, as of tonight in Scotland, as of tomorrow, I'm sorry, you can't go and see your mother, for example, in the house, but you can go and see her in a pub. So, you know, are pubs dangerous or are they not dangerous? Can you take your mum there and that's fine? I mean, it can't be both, can it?
The whole thing is about balance. If you want to go back to the 23rd of March, that's the simplest to come here and explain. The public health advisors quite like that because we could just tell everybody to stay at home. But as you open the economy, as you bring society back, as you prioritise schools, getting the NHS back open, you have to make choices. Now, nobody elected me. I don't get to make those choices. I get to give the advice along with Gregor and others, and that gets fed up, and the decision makers get to make those choices. So if you want to open the economy, that costs you around the R number or the virus. So we then have to close things down, open things up, and work out what you're able to do.
Okay, in a word, sorry, just one more question. Where do we have to get to? Is it below 1 for the R number for things to be back open, for me to be going back inside my mother's house, for example?
If only it were as simple as that. We have to certainly try and get R below 1, but we also want prevalence as low as we can get it.
Okay, Professor Jason Leitch, thank you very much.
Thank you.